Will today's special counsel announcement have any impact on former President Trump's special counsel investigation? Former federal prosecutor Joseph Moreno, who is also a former FBI consultant, joins me. So now what?
Well, Greta, I mean, in theory, one has nothing to do with the other. But in practice, how can you ignore one and treat the other one differently, right? I mean, this is a problem of the administration's own making, and it's what happens when you weaponize the justice system. The Biden administration should have handled the Trump documents at MarALago quietly, behind the scenes.
I think they tried it. He wasn't exactly cooperative.
No, I mean, okay, but from what we know, but they didn't need a primetime splash on television FBI raid with 30 armed agents with leaked pictures of the photos on television.
Well, they didn't. But I think the other thing too is that they got the warrant on a Friday, and they said it was so important to get, and then they didn't wait till Monday, so it wasn't that important. And Merrick Garland said in June, they thought about it for months. Well, it couldn't have been that important if they're really worried about national security. Why did they wait till August?
And then now that's been 5 months, right? Why haven't they either shut the case down or brought charges? Nothing has changed. The facts are there. The elements are either there or they aren't. So either charge it or drop it. But they wanted to leave it live, right? They wanted to keep it in the news. Then they have a special counsel that adds more time to the process. Will they charge him? Won't they charge him? Well, guess what? Now you have your own matter. And what probably would have been a one-day story regarding these Biden classified documents, now look where he is. How could he not have his own special counsel now investigating him? And how will they ignore this Biden case now? So this is what happens when you don't exercise justice quickly and fairly, and you use it as a political weapon.
Well, of course, the president went on 60 Minutes, I think it was critical of President Trump. Now he finds himself in the same situation. And then, of course, every time anyone speaks in this situation, you say something dopey. Like today, he said that about the Corvette. I mean, that was not probably a particularly wise thing for him to say.
Even that 60 Minutes interview, I mean, you talk about an active investigation, right? I mean, any basic prosecutor or political leader would say, I'm not going to comment on something that's an active investigation, if in fact it truly is an active investigation, or was it simply a political drama?
So you believe the Justice Department was totally weaponized at that instance?
I believe that it is being misused, and the best thing they can do now is probably shut down both cases. I mean, wrap this up and say, you know what, we're going to shut down the Trump case. It was a poor case to begin with. Wrap it up, and this Biden matter, they'll have to look into it. I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
What's interesting, the investigations they've had about Trump, like was Russia or whatever, nothing has stuck.
Yeah, that's right.
They've gone at him quite heavily.
How much time did we spend on the Mueller probe?
That's what I mean.
That was absurd. I mean, the amount of time that we spent on that, and we look back and it was all ridiculous. And so, whether now Trump was in power, but there were other powers that were manipulating that process back then and getting that Mueller probe going. And so, look, I think justice should be quick, it should be fair, it should be transparent. None of those things are happening now. Maybe if something good comes of this, is that we can rethink how cases are brought. We can bring them swiftly or not at all.
Well, I'm reminded of the time when Gerald Ford pardoned Nixon. We were all consumed with the scandal until the pardon happened, and everyone got mad at Gerald Ford, but it stopped. Everything stopped, and everybody moved on.
Maybe some closure is what we need.
Anyway, Justice Moreno, thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Greta.
And coming up, if you're thinking about moving, stay right where you are. We're going to tell you where you might want to live.